Intruder Conference Center this morning. I'm Sister Rosemary Greco, the director, and I'm happy to be here with a guest, John Marshall, who is a master drummer and percussionist. John has been in our area for many years and has come to Wisdom House several times conducting drumming workshops. So this morning, John, I'd like to ask you, what got you into drumming? What was the attraction?
I think as a child, it's interesting you say that. As a child, I remember feeling it more than hearing it or seeing it somehow. I remember seeing a parade when I was a boy, very young, and feeling the tones of what's called the snare drums right in my chest. And so I think that feeling of the sound sort of getting right in my body just bit me at that time. And then from that point, I started studying Western classical percussion as a young man. I had a great teacher who went on to become the director of the Seoul Symphony, Dong Wook Park, and he taught me the techniques of Western percussion. And then I was swept up, I think, in the wave of burgeoning world music in the 60s through the Beatles and other groups like that, and got interested in non-Western percussion and was able to study when I lived in New York as a young man with some great Brazilian and Arabic percussionists in Manhattan. So that sort of put me on my course, my lifelong love of percussion.
Well, I can see that what you're doing here with the 70 drummers this morning is really pulling in.
70?
There are 70 drummers there.
Wonderful.
And you are weaving in so many of these different rhythms. Can you tell me, you have this drum here, a particular rhythm?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a nice drum. I love the idea of drums, of playing drums that are somewhat simple in construction. And this, of course, is just a goblet-shaped Turkish drum. And this particular drum is known by many names, but most commonly it's known as dumbek. Sometimes it's called derbeki, all different terms. But this is called dumbek. I can play a couple of strokes for you. If you can see me, it's played in the lap. They're low sounds, and then they're high sounds. And the way I get the high sound is by snapping my finger at the edge. I get that sharp sound. I can set up a rhythm, something like... So you get that kind of high pitch. So this drum's called dumbek. It's one of my favorites. Arabic style of playing.
Well, you feel that right in your
You do, and this is a great room here for drumming right here.
Good. Well, thank you, John.
Thank you.
We're moving back to the workshop with our 70 drummers.
And may I say what a privilege it is to be here every time through all the years. I've so enjoyed being here.
Thank you so much, John. It's all privilege too.
Wonderful. Now this drum here, the way I get that moaning sound, by the way, is I wet my finger, right, and I just push it right across the drum like that. And this is a technique, by the way, that's borrowed from the South American drum called pandero, by the way, which is a tambourine, and you get this same idea. So that came from this, which is a Brazilian tambourine. This business here. So I always love to show that technique of trying to get an elongated sound, because often with drums there's sort of staccato sounds, it's short and quick. So it's kind of nice to show you that. The other thing I got from this drum was this snapping arrangement. And this is just my fingers snapping at the edge, and that is definitely a traditional stroke found all around the Middle East. Okay, it's called chirtma, and it's also in Persian drumming too. And you can experiment with any hand drums with snapping at the edge to get kind of a nice tone like that. So I just wanted to show you those unorthodox techniques. A couple other unorthodox things, and I'll get you playing. I'm mindful of getting started with you. But this is another tambourine called the rick. It's a Middle Egyptian tambourine, and it's a very subtle drum, if you can see it. And you drum set players, watch this, because this is set up like a hi-hat here, and this is set up like bass drum, snare drum. Remember is that we're not doing any wrist action here. This isn't a drum like a kunga drum where there's a lot of wrist action. There's really more forearm happening here. Quite a lot of forearm, all right? So let's try it with our forearm, right? Does that answer your question? All right, so 1, 2, ready, and. All right. You take our strong hand and put it silently right in the middle of the drum. Ah, that was a pretty thing to say. Then a little off to the right or the left. Doesn't really matter which way. Let's all do it together. Ready? This is my favorite moment of the thing. Here we go. And that's all we'll do today. 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. My eyes are right down here looking at the door, the center chord here. Maybe fix your eyes at a middle point and try to see both sides. Just from the visual standpoint, it's quite a beautiful thing to see. The hand dance of it. So let's try that again. Gundun, gundun. 1, 2, ready, and.